Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Third Culture Convos. Welcome back. What's up, Majid? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
All right, let's get into it, man. This is a juicy topic. I love this topic. This is where my imagination goes cray cray.
It has to, right?
Yeah,
Aliens.
man.
Do they
Aliens,
exist?
baby.
Aliens. There's been a lot of talk about just extraterrestrial UFOs. It's been in the news lately quite a bit.
Yeah, people are saying that okay, I'm gonna come clean. Okay, so I love the idea of aliens. Uh and I think I want to actually explore why in a moment. Not now, but in a moment. Um, so I lean towards aliens exist. The- um, I can lean even further and say they're amongst us. Um, and I can lean. I could probably go pretty further than that too. But so here's some of the reasonings. Here's some of the things. Here's some of the evidence. Okay, for all you science-based folks. So first, the so one fact that I learned was that after the nuclear bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki went off, the amount of unidentified flying objects and sightings increased dramatically. And the theory is that uh, let's imagine that there is an over like an advanced civilization, an advanced alien civilization. And let's imagine that they know that we exist on planet Earth. There's like a little planet there, nice little blue ball, and then there's a bunch of people, a bunch of like pseudo advanced creatures living on it. Look, they got this whole society, and then they get the trigger with the nuclear bombs, and they're like, oh man, they're gonna blow themselves up. They're gonna end it. We gotta come in, and we gotta just steer them away from annihilating themselves because monkeys. Um, and so that's one theory. All right, that's like one little piece that I think is lovely. um, and I once listened to this thing about like this thing they call them like type 1, type 2, and type 3 civilizations. Like, and this is like theoretically, how could there be aliens? So they're either like there could be aliens on other planets that are like just bacteria, single cell organisms, like not advanced civilizations. And so the question then becomes like, okay, how do you categorize them? And so a type 1 civilization, okay, is where you can harness the power of the planet that you're on. Okay. And so that means like, you could control the weather maybe a little bit. You can do things on the planet. You can harness its power. Um,
Create fire. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Manipulate
yeah,
wind.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Create rain. Type 2 civilizations are ones that can harness the power of their sun. So they can use their sun to drive things in their solar system. And a type 3 civilization is a type of civilization that can harness the power of black holes and gravity and like very advanced. Now, if it took 100 years to become a type 1, it'll take 1,000 years to become a type 2, and it'll take 100,000 years to become a type 3. So they're not like linear. There's a exponential curve. Um, and then human beings, we're at like 0.8. So we're not at type 1. We're at like 0.7, 0.8. And it looks like in about 100 years we'll hit the 1. So
Inshallah.
inshallah. And so there's the two and there's the type three. And so imagine a type three civilization wouldn't even like look at us, right? Like they think like we're like we wouldn't even be ants. Like we can look at ants and be like, wow, ants are incredible. Look at this. It's amazing how they like they're organized and how they think. And we could do that, but we could also just like walk over them and not even think about like ants and the societies and what's going on in the ant world and we can live that. And so a type three civilization would probably look at us and be like, would not even note us, right? They wouldn't even see us. Um,
Yeah, yeah, you're not even Division Two, right? You're
yeah, yeah.
like all the way far there. You're still amateur. You're not
You're
even the
right. Like
professional.
there'd be nothing to see here, boys. Nothing to see here. And so and like with okay, these sightings and whatever, and like whether they're true or not, and Area 51, and what secrets there's a hold there, and if the governments knew that there were aliens, if they knew that there were advanced civilizations, do you think they would even tell us?
Would you want to know?
Absolutely, I'd love to know. I think one of the problems, and so here's my why. Now going back to the why. Why do I want to believe? Why do I believe that they're aliens? And why do I want to believe? And why do I think it's good for us to actually believe this? Because most of the times I feel like this brings a lot of fear into people's hearts because then they're like, oh, wow. But what I think it does is it actually brings a lot more humility into people's hearts. Because I think people kind of walk around like, we're the end all be all and buy all of everything, which we are. Like you are, like any individual is that, right? You're so lucky to be walking around and like some people don't even get born. um and so you have a little like glimpse of life, but then when you find out that there's other things out there that might be bigger than you, the humility that infers upon you um is something that I'm grateful and I like that about the belief in aliens, because it makes you go like the things that you had known forever or believed that wasn't going to be true, it actually like that it is true that there are aliens and they are advanced civilizations and they may or may not know about us and care about us. They may or may not be here or not be here, but their existence would blow our understanding of our centrality and our narcissism as a society as being at the center of the universe. Like it took years to kick the idea that the earth wasn't the center of the universe, right? That was like 400 years ago people thought that, and so that's my that's like by making yourself not the center and understand that there are other players. I mean that's third culture benefits, right? Like that you're not the center, that there are other people all over the place, and then there's other things, and that so that doesn't scare me. I like aliens.
So then you mentioned though that you think you're ready to go as far as to say that you think aliens walk among us.
Yeah.
How far do you want to take that? Do they walk among us or do they rule among us at this point?
Do they rule? Well, I think with rule, like, okay. So generally when it comes to who rules this planet and the people on it and the thing, that's where I get really conspiratorial, right? Because like, I mean, we talked about this a lot. Like, do corporations rule us? Is there like a cabal of like, the Freemasons? Like, I mean, listen, like if I'm talking to people around like the world, we all know about. I remember, I don't know if you ever heard this tape. So when I was in school, there was this tape that was going around that like it wasn't for everybody to hear, and it was like a shocking like tape, and the tape and so I got my hands on it and I like listened to the tape, and it was a tape where they were talking about the Freemasons, and there was like an echo on the tape, like telling about like the well, I remember one of the details was like the Madonna song like a prayer.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
If you like the tape was clay. If you play it backwards, she's saying I love Satan. And then they play it backwards in the tape, and then and he's like, it's clear that she's saying I love Satan backwards. And then I was like, I don't know how clear that is. Like I was like, okay, fine, I'll accept it. But that doesn't sound that clear. It sounds like something being played backwards.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you want to hear it, you'll hear it, I guess. But like I
Yeah.
don't hear it. But if you want to hear it, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
And
gonna deny it.
every time the guy said the Freemasons, they would be like doo doo. Like it was a secret that you couldn't say out loud. And so these ideas of this like secret society that's running the earth and stuff, and like aliens also being like they could be aliens. If that's the case, then okay, they could be aliens. But there's definitely a tendency to want to believe this type of like these things to help explain a lot of the like injustices in the world. And especially when you like live in a place where there's a lot of injustices, and you have very little control, you kind of need a sort of a greater power to be to explain the fact that that either there are like greater powers that are like in control that want you to be like in the unjust and like wants like that because they benefit from it. And then I tied that to like the world Davos and the World Economic Forum and all of the like and I mean we just had a crazy pandemic too, right? Like all of these things that kind of happen. So would I think that that is it plausible that aliens are like part of this, like that there's a representative? I mean, it could even be in secret. Like if you imagine an advanced civilization, like a type 2 or a type 3, it wouldn't be that hard to infiltrate like humanity. I mean, I even was thinking about if you become a totally advanced like civilization, what would be like the interactions? So instead of us talking and then you maybe misunderstanding what I'm saying and me taking 3 hours to explain something to you, and you like instead of all that in these advanced civilizations, it's just like neural network.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
we don't even need to know each other because we already connected to each other. Kind of like the ant world, right? Like you don't need to talk. Everybody knows their role, and they're all connected, and it's all connected through the like what olfactory, like they can smell the things. Like all it needs is like the mama ant, the queen ant sends out a signal, and then everybody knows what to do. And that's so much faster than having to workshop it, like or explain or do a tutorial.
Yeah, yeah. Message everybody individually. Yo,
Yeah.
do, please
Please
do.
watch to the end. Like please watch to the end. Get a partner. But even it also means like the end of sexuality because you don't need like even in reproduction, why go through all the trouble of like the messiness and the awkwardness of trying to get them all like bred this and just do like a a matrix style like pod system and just keep them coming like yeah, like keep and I mean and this is where I go even crazy that like the idea that it's like a simulation, that like we are the advanced civilization and we became advanced and we like almost killed
We're
ourselves.
just experimenting. We're just experimenting on ourselves at this point.
Yeah. Like and no, we set up that basically the Terminator happened, and then the Matrix happened like 500 years later. So like we built the robots, they took us over, and then the robots kind of still wanted us, and so they made the Matrix, and now we are, hey, this is us in the Matrix. And a few days ago, I saw a glitch. I saw a glitch in the Matrix. I saw somebody share like there's apparently they were like footage of a plane flying, and then the plane just disappears. And it was all and they said, "Oh, glitch in the Matrix."
Maybe the aliens abducted it, maybe
Yeah,
they
yeah,
decided to
yeah.
take an entire plane this time. We don't need to do it
Oh,
one by one. Let's just take
whoops.
all of
So this is definitely
them.
like one of our craziest, like this is definitely a wild discussion. But yeah, I think it's fun.
No, I agree. I want to believe. The Fox Mulder poster, I want to
Yeah,
believe. I grew up on the X-Files. I am fascinated by the thought of aliens, and it absolutely would be a very easy way to justify what's going on around just the insanity that's going around since I would say 2012, the Mayans, the year the world was supposed to end,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Since around then,
Well,
things have been kind of
but even I mean,
choppy.
have we talked about ancient civilizations here? And like, did I talk to you about that before? You know, that
No,
like
I don't think so.
so the cradle of civilization is believed to be 6,000 years ago at Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt and you know yada yada yada. But then so in the last like few years and in a lot like in a while there's been this one researcher called Graham Hancock, and he posits that there was an ancient civilization that was 12,000 years old, so double, that was absolutely destroyed. That like a world disaster destroyed the civilization, and it literally knocked humanity back. And like anybody that knew, and they were of extremely advanced civilization. So some call them Atlantis, like the civilization of Atlantis. And the evidence for such a civilization is in pyramids, like these like obviously destroyed like remnants of like pyramids and temples all over the world. Was in Indonesia, in Turkey, in Africa, and that the like the type of stones that are used at these places, like hunter gatherers could not have built this. um that there's no way, and even like the perfection of the pyramids, like the Egyptian pyramids, which would be 6,000 years later from this, like so society would be destroyed at due to a great flood. So there's a great flood, it destroys everything, and it knocks everybody back. But this society had built like a network of cities, had used extremely advanced technology to move stones over large stones over large distances. These temples and these stones have all like been like radioactively dated, and you could see how the age of them, and none of this is accounted for because this was also no writing, and imagine that everything had been destroyed. But then one question is like, well, then how did those that's ancient civilization develop the technology required in order to build these like huge structures all over the world, and even to like the reason you would even build a pyramid, right? Because it's a pyramid. Why is it so cool? It's because it's a point at which the celestial universe, the top, meets the bottom at a point right at the top of the pyramid. So it connects the celestial sphere to the earthly sphere. So that's what that shape like would work in that sense. And then obviously the perfection of these things, and that it's like even now they don't know how these things were built, how these stones were moved. Like and usually they're like, okay, they were dragged. You're like, have you ever tried to drag these? Like, how many? You know how long that would like that? You can't just drag them. And then even if you did drag them, how are you gonna get them up there? Like, how are you gonna get it up to the top? You just use a system of pulley. There's not with what, because you don't even have like bronze. Like bronze can't take stone out of the thing. So like it's so advanced. Then what? Like how is this? Like they can't just be hunter gatherers.
Even just the glue that sticks all the rocks together. If it is
Yeah,
individual rocks, if it's not one big piece, and
yeah,
you're bringing in rock by rock, stone by stone, but there's going to have to be some agent that brings it all together,
That
that glues
binds
it,
it.
and that
Yeah.
has kept, that binds it, and that has continued to bound it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We see this still today. And where is that material? Elmer's, like, why aren't you using
Yeah.
that glue, right?
Yeah. 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 All of
Like,
this,
I
all
want that one. Like, I want that, the Egyptian glue. I don't need like.
and so some theorize that the aliens came and they taught us this stuff, taught our ancestors how to build and how to set this stuff up, and maybe even shared some anti-gravity technology that you could float the thing up. Maybe did all those types of things, and this is all very fun and speculative.
Yeah, yeah, because there's also Stonehenge, for example. We have no
Yep,
answers
no one
about
has any
Stonehenge.
idea. Yeah, there's Gobekli in
Yeah.
Turkey. No one has any idea. There's another pyramid in outside of Jakarta. No one has any idea. And even the land of Indonesia was not a like 10,000 years ago wasn't a bunch of islands. It was a landmass. It was a peninsula. It was a huge connected landmass. And then the flood comes in and takes it all out and disconnects it from each other. And so even underneath the water, who knows what secrets are left to be discovered. And the same in, like the Sahara was a jungle. It wasn't a desert.
Mm.
And so this would be the perfect spot to have a civilization. I have a city, an Atlantis, if you will. You can even see the striations of the water, like water erosion through the Saharan desert. Like on a map, if you look at a map of it, you can see where the water came up from the Mediterranean and poured out into the Atlantic.
Mm.
And you know how myth works, right? Like if you're like, okay, there was a great flood, it will slowly, even if you like you're the first generation, the survivors, the leftovers, it will go into myth and it will disappear into the past. But like every religious like civilization has a story of a great flood that killed everything. Every one of them. Like in the Abrahamic religions, in Judaism and Islam, obviously there's those, and in Hinduism and in Taoism, and then you go over down to the Shinto, like everybody's got a story about a great flood that takes out a bunch of people for being bad, for getting too proud, for getting too big. And so even what I think is so cool about aliens and where the real I would say haze and question mark and problem and what it would do if we were able to accept, because even if they told us there are aliens, I think people won't be able to accept it. Like they can't like.
Well, before we even get to that, I actually wanted to ask you this. How would you want them to, like, what would the first contact be like? Is it literally the White House podium and, hey guys, we have a special announcement. Behind this door is a very special guest to Earth. Please give a round of applause to Carp, the alien. Or would it be, the Steven
Well,
Spielberg, the UFO is landing and people are coming and they're giving a flower? Or would it even be Mars attacks, where like we do the whole
yeah,
Spielberg setup, but then they end up shooting us and they're like a hostile takeover? This is not fun, guys.
I like
Is
I
it a big
think
PR event? Is it an organic event? I'm trying to,
I mean
how
it
do
would
we unfold this?
I think it would be the end of the world because you would also have to prove that you're an alien, right? And so, like that's why I think, like Islamically, we would just be like, "Oh, that's Ya'juj and Ma'juj. There he is." Now we have to double down. Like this is now he's gonna like the story of Iblis and like of the he will come with a pool, not Iblis, the Antichrist. He will come with a pool of cool water and a pool of fire, and he's gonna say, "Pick one." And the Muslims will know that it's a ruse. You got to pick the fire. You can't like Muslims know that they got to go jump in the fire because that's the actual cool one. It's a trick. You ever heard that?
No, I think I know you're talking about Dajjal, right? You're talking about the
Yeah,
character like
yeah, the
Dajjal.
Dajjal, but like the Antichrist, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, the like one-eyed, like
yeah the trickster. Like like he'll come and he's going
yeah,
through
yeah,
and yeah
the Antichrist, like
yeah
the guy who
everybody
said
will
everyone
join
thinks
him
is the
and
false
then there's a
prophet.
and there'll be a fight, yeah, the false prophet, and then Jesus will come and come back
And then the epic good versus
and
the
the final
final
battle,
epic
yeah, the final
earthly
battle on
earthly
earth, yeah.
battle. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what we
yeah.
would. I think. I imagine that like you have at least in the Muslim world. I imagine that's like will be because who are you gonna go to? Let's say you're like you're gonna go to the sheikh and be like, Sheikh, what's going on, man? This thing just came and did this, and like even if it was a meeting or if it was this or if it was that, and like we got to see with our eyes, you're gonna go to the sheikh and the sheikh's gonna be like, yo, man. He's gonna pack it up his shit. He'll be like, listen, guys. Like, I don't know who you are.
Well, given that we did see, the different varying reactions of coronavirus and the news of this like pandemic that's spreading throughout the world, and just the variation from minus 180 to plus
Yeah,
180,
yeah,
just I'm saying
yeah,
from pure denialism to pure like ecstasy almost, if you
yeah,
will.
yeah.
Like we saw everything. So this alien news, I couldn't imagine the reaction, the range of reactions that humans would give if it was announced that yes, they walk among us
Well,
or they exist. Forget
I mean,
even where they walk,
I
they exist.
it would be 100%. I feel like you're gonna get the worshippers, like the people
Yeah,
that'll worship
exactly.
this.
Yeah,
Like it'll
yeah,
be like,
yeah.
okay, let's or like per like and like that's an easy one too because like I've been waiting for this my whole life, right? Like I've been waiting for this gap. I just needed something to come and like that I need like especially for I think for a lot of people that would be a thing. Um, for other people, it will be the double down onto your own.
Weirdly, especially because the being is not human, they would give it even more weight, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
religiously or spiritually
yeah.
speaking, because it's not human, like it's on the pedestal automatically. What was the second thing you were saying? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I think, and then I think also some people would double down, right? Double down in their own like thing, like they will retreat into their cave. Let's say.
Yeah, yeah, this is confirmed Dajjal and I am right, and my ticket to heaven has been booked. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of
Like I
thing,
know, like
right?
show me the pool. Like wait, like show me the pool. I will do it. I will make the jump. I will do it properly. Like, right? Like I
Yeah,
think
yeah, I've
they.
studied for this one. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
ready.
yeah, yeah. Time has come. All right, let's go. Back to bags, everybody. Um, I think you would also get like, and this is probably where like, would you think you'd get like a mass like a mass like suicide? Like you think people would just be like I can't handle this. Like
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Yes, like we could like I don't even know what the reaction will be. You would have just everything, anything and everything. You would have an entire industry, right? Like
well
literally overnight, a global
here.
industry created based on this alien concept. Shirts, posters, churches, anything and everything. You would then be talking about political rights for aliens and just anything and everything would be
Well, no, but
completely
even
and
like
people would
do they
not.
I mean I feel like I keep going into the religious, but because then like you're gonna be like, okay, then how does the religion account for this? Like how flexible can the religion be in order to account for this type of stuff? Because it's not God, right? Like an alien wouldn't. But see, already we're like, well,
No, no, you keep going back to religion. I keep trying to run away from it, but
yeah,
and
yeah, because
because
that's where the real
this
trouble lies. Like the trouble.
ultimately the question, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And that's what I was alluding to, that like because the thing is not being, because the being is not human, people will have very strange interpretations off the bat of it, right? They'll put their own desires and exactly this, that
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
is this a superior being, maybe even the supreme being?
Well, do you know the remember the movie, the Toy Story movie? You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
the little aliens, the little like oh, and then
yeah,
they
yeah,
and
yeah.
then there's the claw, and the claw becomes their god, and the claw. Like that's exactly I think what exactly what would happen is that you'll have everybody be like, oh, The claw. And that would be the thing that everybody will go to. What would be trouble is if you had competing alien civilizations. And then you had Battleground Earth.
A turf war? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Or what you can Avengers, the Galaxy Eater, like the Planet Eaters.
So then would the like contrarian person be like an alien denier at that point? Would like to go against the mainstream would be like, no, what you're putting in front of me is Hollywood effects? Like, have we gone
Oh
full
yeah.
circle where it's like the
I
conspiracy
th
theory is no longer?
I think the answer to
You know
that
what I mean?
is I think the answer to that is in Elon we trust. We just need Elon Musk. Like then like we would all just turn Elon, you kind of called this. Can you like put your Iron Man suit on and just go figure this shit out, please?
Yeah, yeah. Send your son to translate, bro. Send XAE sign to go
Well,
translate for us,
I mean, if
please.
there's one dude that's prepared us for any of this stuff, it's him. Like it's absolutely crazy that like one person at the center of a lot of different things. Like whether you're like yes, you worked with people or whatever, but the one person has taken this like the human civilizations need to become an intergalactic, interplanetary species, and that's what needs to be done for in order for us to ensure the survival of the human race. And he's like working on it, and he's like the only dude that like works that like is at that forefront doing all that stuff, and putting his money where his mouth is. Like no, or putting his money where his tweets are. No pun intended. So he does all these things, and so then I imagine that you'd get like a because like I feel like that's what if they did come, I'd be like Elon, like he's the most qualified person to like deal with this situation. Like you wouldn't want like Joe Biden to deal with it. You wouldn't like you don't I can't imagine any like you definitely don't want a politician to deal with them because the politicians aren't exactly the like it's not the sharpest tools in the shed are not our politicians, right? Like like they're not the diplomacy is not I think what we will need at this point at that point.
Politician will split up half the earth for one alien race, the other half for the other alien race, and say we did you the favor
Yeah,
to
yeah.
humanity.
Yeah, and take all
Look
the
what a great job we did. We found two buyers, not one. We found two
yeah,
buyers.
yeah,
They'll
yeah.
sell it
And
to
take
you
the
that
cut.
look, we did you the favor. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
They'll get their liaison jobs between species, interspecies liaison, and continue to make money off the stock market, insider trading.
yeah, I, I, I mean, I think yeah, people would just because you begin, yeah, because it would just change the way. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's any similar time in history where this could have happened. Like I imagine,
Also,
like the
I would send Neil deGrasse Tyson, by the way, personally, as
yeah,
my
yeah, he can like go jovially, like make.
because like he's got the science, like he's got the real science down.
Well, no, and he's all for it. Like he's like yeah, totally, like absolutely.
But
Like
he's
of course
also
there.
like, yeah, he'll give off good vibes. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Elon will try to sell them Twitter or something. I don't
yeah,
know. He'll try to sell them
yeah.
like a
No,
flight back to home. And your
Elon will
tickets,
sell us
as you're
out,
aiming
man.
to book
He
your
will sell us
tickets,
all out.
yeah,
Elon will
yeah,
sell
straight
us
up.
out.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Neil deGrasse Tyson will look at like civilization and
Yeah, to keep it
technology.
fair. One of the things Neil deGrasse Tyson once said was that he totally disagrees with the fact that we're trying to send signals out into the universe to like let them know that we're here. Because he's like, yo, you don't like if they're super advanced and they just don't notice us because we're so small and like not noticeable, then like you don't want to be like, hey, look at me, and like then they can
It's
come
like
just toy with us.
the prey. Yeah, yeah, the prey
Yeah,
calling the predator, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Come, like yeah, we're right here. Just that vector. You go down, take a turn. A third planet on the right.
yeah, yeah. I'll Google map you the link. Yeah, yeah. I'll
Yeah, yeah,
send you the ping.
yeah. Third planet of this because we're totally underprepared for any of this type of stuff. What if they come and they're like, look, the only reason we showed up, we wouldn't have done it, but the only reason we showed up was, I got two possibilities. The only reason we showed up was because there's a rocket, like there's a comet coming straight at you. So we showed up to like push it away, to save you. And that's why we did it. Or they've been doing that all along, but they don't tell us. Like we're like a little experiment for like them. They're like, let's see if these little monkeys are gonna figure something out. And they're just watching us.
By the way, you had asked if there was any previous time in history that this has happened. I don't think so. Like that's sort of the thing is we're getting closer and closer to the day where we're gonna get an announcement because now
Well,
we live in a time where the White House is legitimately answering questions about UFOs, spy balloons.
yeah, but no, because they know they exist. That this is because they absolutely know that they exist, right? Like even when they don't like rule it out, like we're not ruling anything out. Even the way they said that, like so they were because like a journalist said, "Hey, do you think it's a UFO and like an alien from an alien like planet?" And he's like, "We're not ruling anything out." And that's an interesting answer to give to
Which is political speak for like I'm not gonna lie, but I can't tell you the truth either,
yeah,
right?
and but then every reason that they've given, like sort of every explanation they've given so far has fallen short. It's like and it's funny like that their explanations because they don't make sense. So like the one thing they don't make sense the explanation. So the first one was like it's more Chinese spy balloons, and then the Chinese are like, no, it was just one, and it wasn't a spy balloon. It was a balloon, but it wasn't a spy balloon. And even if it was a spy balloon, I would tell you it's not a spy balloon. like
And
okay,
like
so
you guys have sent for every one of ours, you've sent 10 this
yeah,
year, by the way.
and
We just haven't talked about it.
The Chinese, I don't need to send a spy balloon. I already got TikTok all over that. Right?
Honestly,
like
I don't know what's
why do
like
I need a
this.
spy balloon?
Like,
Like
how
of all
many
the
times can you see the
technologies,
same scene? How many ways can you spy on the same boring ass people?
yeah. And then the next 3 days, the next like 3 days, the explanations were they're a private commercial like object that got out of hand and no one noticed. But then you go, okay, then why didn't any of the commercial owners say, it was mine? That you guys shot mine down. Like you, if it was an expensive piece of hardware,
Cha-ching! I'm
yeah,
suing you.
yes.
I'm suing the government and I'm gonna win. That's lottery money right there,
So
right?
when I get like a bad explanation plus bad explanation plus another bad explanation, like an explanation that like very easy to be like, I don't know, man, I don't know, that doesn't make no sense to me. It throws me back to the pandemic years, like it throws me back to like these types of like, okay, where like, and then I think that this sort of disorientation, I feel like, oh sweet, yeah, it makes sense. We're about to enter another election cycle, like so like now the disorientation machine comes out, like everybody has to get thrown off, um, and so a part of me feels like that it's that this like that I may be excited that it for them to be aliens, like I may like want it to be, it may or may not. I mean they may have not even shot down anything. They might be saying that they're shooting stuff down, they're not shooting it. Like there's no way I can know this stuff. Like this, like, and they said that there's no debris, like there's no debris, and so I'm like, what? These guys got some great machines that shoot down things and leave no debris every 3 times in a row. And like, are we gonna get another, a fourth, a fifth, maybe? How about you shoot them down discreetly so nobody knows?
And that's why I wanted to just talk about aliens,
Yeah.
UFOs, because if if the White House is talking about it, who are we not to, right?
Who are we? Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're doing our due diligence. We gotta.
And we're the X-Files generation. Again, I really do want to stress. I think like we like grew up, a lot of our generation, I think grew up
Yeah, we're primed for it.
with a much more open, accessible view to aliens. I think uh, before that, people are still more, there's a cultural skepticism. After, like from ours onwards, there's a much more like, yeah, they're there. We just
Yeah,
they haven't revealed themselves yet.
yeah, yeah. I'd like, and I, if they are there, then please don't hurt us. We're just simple monkeys. I hope that if they are there, it actually brings out the best of us, like that we go, you know what, we have, because here's why. Now we would benefit. We need an enemy. We need an other. And so if there is an alien civilization that comes along, then they are the ultimate other. And so now the difference between an African and an Asian and an American is really moot, like compared to the advanced civilization, alien civilization that's here. And that should end all war between us, at least. Like we should be like, why are we fighting each other? Look, we gotta at least reach their level, just in case they try to kill us. Like, we have to work together.
This is one of those times where the theory sounds a lot better than the practical.
Yeah.
Human experience tells you what's gonna happen is the aliens will divide and conquer, and easily too. The humans will be more than happy to play their part in the divide and conquer.
No, I mean the thing is, I feel like if they're aliens, they wouldn't even have to do anything. They could just leave us. We'll take care of our destruction ourselves.
That's
like
it's like that's it.
And happily we'd be like, I could do this myself. Thank you very much. I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm busy doing it right now. Ana Mufadi. I'm already busy doing it. Like they have already come. They've already infiltrated us. We're already divided, and we're already destroying it. Like, what are they gonna do that's gonna make it worse? Like that we are doing to ourselves. So maybe them showing up will make it clear to that nothing, man. People don't think, but it would make it clear to us that we're to get, guys, we got to get our act together, everybody. We got to get our act together.
This was in Watchmen. This was one of the subplots, is that the smartest man in the world, Ozymandias, Ozymandias, he false flags. He pretends like there's an alien so that humanity can all band together and become, for just even 2-3 months, we can all just band together and be united against a common enemy. I just want to say one thing about, if there are aliens, please beam me up, Scotty. Let's just get this over with.
I want to see. Let's see what you got. Yo, man, that would be so terrifying. That'd be terrifying. It would. No, then they would have to matrix you. They'd have to put you into it would have to be the exact matrix.
It would be terrifying if it's if they're doing the alien experiments on you with the drills like they show in X-Files. It would be kind of fun if it was like the Simpsons aliens. The Krang and whatever.
The funny ones. The funny ones.
The Halloween ones. Yeah. I could chill with those guys. I could get abducted by those ones.
Yeah. Just to see it be over. I think it would also be fun. Fun. I think I had a thought that we would all, their existence would unite us, and they would. But they're also that it's also they would welcome us to a intergalactic federation, right? Actually, because the question, the real, I think, core question that begs is, what's life? What are we doing here, right? Because that question, with or without aliens, that question is valid. It's a core question, right? When you wake up to the universe, because they woke up to, we woke up to, everybody woke up, right? Wakes up to the universe, and wakes up to their existence, wakes up where they are, and so then the question is what are we doing here? Is it and that's a deep philosophical question that we would actually share that with them. We would have the same. We could learn their answers to that question, and they could learn our answers to those questions.
It might actually answer the question in itself that, we are here because we needed to make contact with you guys, right? It might be us making contact was the entire purpose of all of this. Like that just might be the solution too.
But
So
then
like, yes, I
why
do
make
agree.
like like even in in the Quran there's an ayah that like I created you. I did not like I did not create you. What was I like? I created you to know each other. Like I and organized you into tribes so that you can know each other. Right? So I created you and organized you into tribes so that you can know each other. So a part of life is to not be the other person, but to get to know them. like and like ask some questions and get some answers and what's a fire and why does it? What's the word burn? um uh Little Mermaid reference. And so and Little Mermaid, Atlantis, under like it's all there. We've shared these stories of all of these places before. We all know them. We're not just the Star Trek or the X-Files generation. We're also the Little Mermaid generation.
You guys saw Waseem start off the episode as a sane man, and you've slowly seen him over the last X amount of times warp into conspiracies, and it's all connected, bro. Aliens, you know the aliens guy.
I'm gonna go get my tinfoil hat and wear it.
Waseem slowly descend into this. Like, what happens if aliens do exist? You can see the effects, folks.
Yo,
This is what happens.
when you
become the Little
call
Mermaid generation. It's true. I love Ariel. Don't get me wrong. And Sebastian, he's my bro. Don't get me
what you
wrong.
call
I'm
descend,
down.
I call ascend. I
Mashallah, good,
ascend.
good,
Thanks a
good.
lot. Good times. Happy alien week. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Keep those minds open. Aliens, we're like, don't hurt us. If you are advanced, please don't hurt us. If you're not more advanced than us, we're definitely gonna hurt you. like we, yeah,
But first, we will try and make money out of you or
yeah.
your resources, and then we'll hurt you.
I said where it did happen before. I think in on our when it was when like let's say you had the ships and the guns that went across the Atlantic and then went to the north to like the Columbus, like the like that business. That I think you could see as a like a slightly more advanced civilization coming on a not as advanced technologically um uh and then like you saw what that led to. So like in history, uh like we don't actually have good evidence like for like, oh, it'll be fine. It's just like, right. And so I think maybe we need to I like on a big picture, we need to stop trying to make everybody conform to an idea of what is good uh, standard or good behavior or good as defined by an authority. And we should allow and encourage and find a way to exist with the fringes of society, with the outside part. I think that's something that I would imply could only benefit us and serve us. So instead of demonizing and on both left, right, everybody, instead of demonizing people that are, as far as you're concerned, on the fringes and are out there, I think we should find our humanity between them and understand the necessity of fringes. Like we need them to be there. We need like it's the fringes that push us forward. And so if you're, like, and so when you got like places like that are like social scoring people or what's the word? Like morally policing people. I think we need to awaken to the fact that is folly, because what you end up is with conformity, and conformity is not adaptability, and then we're in total trouble because we will need that adaptability. We will need those people at the edges that think differently. for better or worse. Um, look how serious I got. That's us.
How serious? And I don't know where aliens come in the picture.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Elon's a fringe. Elon is an example of the fringe. He needs to be out there. You can't be controlling people like them, right? You have people that like. I mean, someone's gonna speak alien language, right? Like, because how are we
Yeah,
gonna?
yeah.
Yeah,
All the Trekkies or the Trekkers, depending on which way you
yeah.
see it, they speak Klingon and all sorts
Well,
of
maybe Star Trek
with the
and the Terminator.
Game of Thrones freaks. You don't know if the aliens speak Dothraki
Well,
instead.
clearly James Cameron is an alien, and he's just making all these movies to prepare us.
He is a Canadian. I just found this out last week. I didn't know this throughout my life. I lived in Canada. I never knew this. James Cameron is Canadian.
Imagine there were whole countries they were actually all planted aliens, but you don't know that you're an alien. Like they have it in the machine. Like you open up your skin and then you see like a
I
roll,
can't
like a
say what
sun.
I want to say. I can't say what I want to say. I can't. I have to.
Okay,
The cancel squad is going to be out there.
you should definitely say it.
This is basically the internet at like in 1 second. Yo, I
Yeah,
shouldn't say it. I'm gonna get canceled. Yo, that's why you should say it. Like,
yeah. Like if you think it'll do that, then definitely say it. You're not gonna say it.
no.
Okay, say it after. And if anybody wants to know what he said, just send an email and he'll send it to you. Yeah. Or follow us on one of our social media channels, especially Instagram, because Maj is managing that and he's so alone and he's so like sad. So like go to Third Culture Convos and message Majid and say, Majid, what was it that you were gonna say? And Majid and he has to respond to you. He has to. Like he has to tell you. And then you can
I
snapshot it
will
and share
respond.
it.
If anyone actually does any of this, I will respond. Third Culture
Yeah.
Convos on Instagram or
Yeah.
YouTube. We're all over the place. We have profiles
Wherever.
everywhere.
Comment somewhere. We're all over the place. We're like literally everywhere. Um, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for the show, and hope you had fun as much as I did. All right. See you later, alligator.
Ship's waiting. My ship's waiting.
Yeah, peace.
See you.